looking to establish that changeup early against this team that just swings so well. Virginia Tech past the bat, those top 7 hitters, they're a force, and led by Emma Ritter. She can just do a lot of things, but her bat-to-ball skills are exceptional. Very difficult to strike out. Any type of pitch, she can hit it.
First pitch delivery from Zabala in for a ball against Ritter. The off-speed just misses. 2-0 the count to Ritter.
It's so important to throw that. Doesn't even matter that it wasn't a strike, right? She's got to get that in the mind of these Virginia Tech hitters early. Hitting is timing, and if you can disrupt that, even from an approach standpoint, it's a couple of bonus points for you.
That misses the outside part of the plate. 3-0 the count to Emma Ritter, the senior from Perryville, Maryland. That misses high and inside, and Emma Ritter is aboard with 4 straight balls.
And that's really difficult because the next thing that Emma does really well is steal bases. She's 12 for 12 on the year, stolen bases. You can turn a walk into a double in a hurry. So if you're Goff and Zabala, you got to be thinking about not just Addie Green walking into the box, but also what's happening on the base paths.
Ritter 4th in the ACC with 11 stolen bases, and now it's Addie Green, the senior from Suffolk, Virginia. Addie Green brings in a .472 batting average.
And as a fan of softball and someone who gets to be around it quite a bit, the number that I really love on offense is that OPS, right? You're on base plus slugging. And when you look at Addie Green, she's got a 1.475 OPS. I mean, her ability not just to get on base, but hit for extra base hits has been phenomenal to start the year.
Just gaudy numbers. Jammed on the inside, fouls this off. 1-1 the count to Addie Green. Goff throws down, applies the tag, but under it is Emma Ritter, and she swipes 60 feet.
Not an if, but when, right? You knew she was going to go at some point. Goff has been a new addition to this Cardinals team and does a great job behind the plate, giving a lot of stability there to Zabala and the pitching staff. That's just a tough task to throw out Emma Ritter.
That misses outside to Green. Evens up the count 2-2. So Kylie Goff catching Alyssa Zabala. At third base for the Cards is Bailey Richardson. Daisy Hess at short. Allie Alexander at second. Riley Frizzell at first. Outfield left to right. Paige Garrity, Chelsea Mack, and Vanessa Miller in the outfield for the Cards. Pitch misses to Addie Green. Loads up the count. Swung on, sent foul, and out of play into the Cards bullpen. Everyone will reset. The payoff pitch misses low and outside to Addie Green. And back-to-back walks issued by Zabala. Base runners on first and second for the Hokies.
Well, it's Green's 9th walk of the year, and that's the thing that really makes this Virginia Tech team so difficult is knowing that they have more firepower behind them. They don't feel like they have to chase things. They don't have to try to make something happen. Just continue to pass the bat.
Well, it's Cameron Fagan's turn at the plate to face Alyssa Zabala. First pitch from Zabala in for a strike to Fagan.
And that's a good pitcher spot right there. And one thing Zabala is doing well right now, she hasn't given in. She's fallen behind in the count twice, but she's not thrown something in the heart of the plate just to get a strike. And you can't. You've got to keep pinching those corners. You got to keep trying to paint that strike zone and hopefully establish a rapport both with your catcher and also with your home plate umpire, and be able to do, some of those things that allow you to get the strike calls later.
1-1 to Fagan. The off speed just misses. Again, Joanna trying to just switch up that timing a little bit against these power hitters of Virginia Tech.
You don't usually want to give away too many pitches early. You want to try to establish some things later. But right now for Zabala, finding a way to throw strikes is going to be important. And the strikes that you want to throw, they've been elusive so far.
3-1, the count to Fagan. Senior from Florida. Part of the NFCA Mid-Atlantic second team last season. Back up the middle to Zabala. Stays in front of it. Able to get the out at first for 1 out for the Cards.
Tough way to have to record an out if you're Zabala, but good job sticking with it, making that play. It's chilly down there too, and that's not going to feel good coming off your body.
Now it's Corey McMillan to the plate for the Hokies, the junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. On the base pass, Emma Ritter at third, Addie Green at second. A swing and a miss there from Corey McMillan. 1-1 now the count. McMillan bringing in a .333 batting average. Registered 14 hits so far. 5 of those have been home runs. No big deal. Just missing on the outside part of the plate. 2-2 the count. Swung on and missed, and a big punch out for Zabala to get out number 2.
You hear Coach April and Coach Joyner talk about the maturation process of Alyssa Zabala, and I think this is a prime example of when you're seeing it. I feel like when we were watching games last year that there would have come a point where you could have read the expression on her face. You could have seen her give in a little bit and try to move the ball to an unhealthy place for a pitcher to be throwing it, and she's really stuck with her game plan here in this first inning and understands probably a much bigger picture of what her role is against this type of lineup, and as a sophomore, that's such an important step to take.
Well, and right on cue, out comes Griffin Joyner to have a word with her pitcher in her infield. Making sure they're all on the same page. Bree Peck, the junior from Royersford, Pennsylvania.
And that's the tough part with this Virginia Tech offense. One swing, and they can just change a game completely. There's 31 home runs in their lineup. There's 13 in Louisville's lineup today. So, you want to make sure that when the inning starts to get a little long, right, Zabala's at 22 pitches, I think, right now, and that's quite a bit in one inning, making sure that she's sticking with the game plan. Keep those runs off the board would be very big success here early for Louisville.
Yeah, Bree Peck with back-to-back home runs in games 1 and 2. Saturday's doubleheader last weekend against Notre Dame. And actually, they were back-to-back home runs in back-to-back games between Bree Peck and Michelle Chatfield, who's in the on-deck circle.
That was such a statement sweep from Virginia Tech of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You know, hadn't done that, hadn't won the series since 2014. Notre Dame's such a great team, and for Virginia Tech to come out and open a series, that's a big win.
Jammed in and on the hands, fouled off. 1-2 now, the count to Bree Peck. Peck, a member of the All-ACC second team last season and also part of that NFCA Mid-Atlantic second team. And this is into left center. Under it is Chelsea Mack, who will make the grab. The Hokies strand two. Alyssa Zabala getting herself out of a jam. The Cards coming to the plate after this. Here this afternoon, and she will face the righty sophomore Lindsey Grine. Grine leads the staff with 51 strikeouts.
Speaking of gaudy numbers.
First pitch in for a ball.
You know, Grine really likes to work fast. She's a pitcher that's going to throw hard start to finish. You're going to see her in the high 60s, touching 70, even in the seventh inning. She's someone that just has a lot of effective velocity, likes to jam hitters, which if I threw 70, I'd want to jam hitters too, right? It's just a very difficult pitch to hit when you throw that hard. Is occasionally likely to leave one over the plate. You know, probably spent most of her youth getting away with throwing hard. So that's the biggest thing for Louisville right now. You're going to get a missed pitch every once in a while. Can you capitalize on that?
Well, Chelsea Mack popped up that bunt. Third baseman Bree Peck able to make that grab for the first out for the Hokies. And now it's Daisy Hess, the fifth year from Ackworth, Georgia, to the plate for the Cards. Hess bringing in a .322 batting average. That pitch misses from Grine. Pitches in for a strike, 2-1 to Hess. Hess named to the 2023 All-ACC second team last season. A stellar year, first year in a Cardinals uniform. Transferred from Georgia State. Started every game at shortstop since she's put on that Cards jersey. Brings a lot of speed to the base path. The 3-1 to Hess. Misses outside, and the speedy Hess is aboard with that free pass.
And we've talked about it before, but for Louisville, the walks are so important. It really is a vital part of their offense. They look to weaponize the base on balls as much as possible. And for them, their success comes with putting pressure on the other team. You saw it with Chelsea Mack trying to put the bunt down early. You know, you see it here with Daisy Hess probably trying to swipe a base in the next couple of minutes, but just something that they can do to create runs.
Has 5 for 6 on stolen bases on attempts. First pitch in to Riley Frizzell, misses. 1-0 the count. Frizzell, the senior from Willoughby, Ohio. Transferred from Mizzou.
Well, we see in today's lineup, Frizzell and Miller both moving up a little bit in the order. You know, I like that. They've been performing well, and that's something that you want to see. You want to see your top hitters in the top of the lineup that just get more at-bats over the course of a season. It's as simple as that. So anytime you can create opportunities for them, if they're comfortable there, can contribute there, it's helpful for the program.
Frizzell leads this team, averaging at a .368 clip. Tied for first with 5 home runs, along with Vanessa Miller, who you mentioned earlier, in the on-deck circle.
He's all bundled up, but I believe that's Coach Josh Johnson coming out to have a word to get the beanie and can't quite see, but talk through the game plan here.
Yeah, the rain has left. It has been a beautiful 60 degrees all week long, Joanna, but it is now a chilly high 40s, cloudy day here in the Ville. Luckily, it's dry finally. Rained all day yesterday. That's why we're having a doubleheader this afternoon. 2-0 to Frizzell has swung on and fouled up and out of play.
The heaters are on in the dugouts, though.
Absolutely.
Saw that.
Absolutely.
We were walking up today. I thought those things are going to get some overtime usage today.
Of course. Of course. Luckily, you and I, Joanna, are nice here in a heated press box as well. Ball misses low and inside to Frizzell. 3-1 the count.
I feel like we need to tell the people, though, that the window is open. I mean, we're not
it
weenies.
Is, well, that's
like
true.
The window is open. We're in it for the game sounds.
We need the Nat sounds.
That's right. That's right.
That's in for a strike. And that'll be a full count to Frizzell. Catching Lindsey Grind behind the dish is Kylie Aldridge. Full count pitch. Sends the left side. Bree Peck makes the play. Over to Michelle Chatfield at first base. He's looking around the rest of the infield. At short, Annika Rose. At second, Cameron Fagan. In the outfield and left field, Addie Green. Center field is Emma Ritter. And in right, Corey McMillan. So it's Daisy Hess, the base runner for the Cards. On second base, Vanessa Miller, who had an absolute monster home run against Arizona earlier this week, will step into the batter's box. Pitches in for a strike, and Miller falls well behind in the count, 0-2. Senior from Indianapolis, Indiana. Really making a statement this senior year.
Yeah, she's been off to a great start. Falling behind here, this is when you get a little susceptible to the rise ball that Grind has, so really we need to stay disciplined on this one.
That one blows by her on the outside part of the plate for the third out. The Cards strand one. We're going to... Leading off for the Hokies is Michelle Chatfield, the freshman from Lovettsville, Virginia. Coming in making a huge statement. Homered in all 3 games last weekend against Notre Dame. She leads this team with 8 home runs. That's tied for first in the ACC. Pretty outstanding for a freshman.
I absolutely loved what Coach DeMoore said on our call earlier this week. He said, you're never going out trying to find recruits, freshmen who aren't going to play right away. You want them to play right away. I think the bill of the helmet luckily got that one. She seems okay. Face mask can be your friend.
Right. A nice little wry smile there from Michelle Chatfield.
And we've seen that with Coach DeMoore-led teams. Like, we've seen freshmen make immediate impacts, and, her arrival caused a shuffle to the entire team because of her ability to play, and the same can be said, when you look at the infield in the shortstop spot as well, being able to have just newcomers rise to the challenge, and what he went on to say was that it's their mentality that separates them and that makes them ready to play every day. And you don't see that a lot in kind of a showcase world of summer ball, but these freshmen are definitely making their impact felt, and it's going to be a huge asset as they go through the year.
Another freshman, Emily Leggett, in the on-deck circle. 3 different freshmen in the starting lineup for the Hokies. Off speed misses. That'll load up the count to Chatfield.
And that third freshman, Ani Rose, see her hitting in the 9th spot. But, when you're as a freshman called one of the best defensive shortstops that your coach has ever coached, and, your coach has the experience that Coach DeMoore has, kudos. That's high praise.
That's extremely high praise. Zabala back in the circle, ready for another payoff pitch here to Chatfield. Misses high and outside. And issues a walk to Chatfield.
This is going to be an important part of the lineup for Alyssa Zabala to really rein in on, 7, 8, 9 hitters. It's hard to say that there's a less potent part of Virginia Tech's lineup, but this is it. When you're talking about those who maybe don't have the extra base hit percentages that your counterparts do, really needs to attack these next few hitters.
Emily Leggett tips that first pitch. 0-1. The freshman from Plantation, Florida. Got her first career home run against Auburn earlier this season. Misses low and outside. We'll get named the Miami Herald Player of the Year in both 2021 and 22. This is swung on, sent to the left-hand side. Richardson will get the out at second, get that lead runner for the first out here in the top of the second. And that'll make way for sophomore Kylie Aldridge to come to the plate. Aldridge from Fayetteville, North Carolina. First pitch to Aldridge, misses outside. 1-0 the count. Just missing on the inside part of the plate. Umpire crew for the afternoon: Craig Hyde, Alex Leap, and Jim Cooper. Again, this is the first of 2 games that we'll play this afternoon between these 2 teams for some ACC softball action. Second game will be about 30 minutes after the conclusion of the first. That pitch misses, and another walk given by Zabala, her 4th of the afternoon.
Yeah, pretty uncharacteristic, really. She's not someone that walks a ton of hitters, so it's a little surprising to see, but you can tell by her facial expressions, she's thought some of these pitches should have been strikes. The fans seem to think some of these should have been strikes, but just continuing to work and try to figure out that zone and where she can be successful today.
Taking over running duties at second base is Lila Blackwell, the freshman from Franklin, Indiana. So it's Blackwell at second, Aldridge at first. And you talked about this freshman, Annika Rose, goes by Ani. Ani, just like Michelle Chatfield from Lovettsville, Virginia. That catches the outside part of the plate to Rose. In for a strike. 1-1 the count. 1 out here in the top of the second. Looking to get that same call, but just outside. 2-1. High and inside to Rose. Rose of softball royalty. Her mom Amanda played softball at Robert Morris. She's in the Hall of Fame there with her team. 3-1 to Rose. Is in for a strike. Full count now. Tipped off. Rose lives to see another pitch. Another foul tip. A good battle here between Rose and Zabala.
Well, and right now, that pitch seems to be one that not only is being called a strike, but also Rose is being active on. So it's tough to leave that spot as much as you want to, as you can't afford to put another one on base here.
Another foul tip here. Got a good crowd here at Ulmer Stadium, given it's a little chilly, a little overcast, a little windy. Jammed in on the hands. Daisy Hess will make the toss, looking to turn the double play, and not in time. But did get one out, the Cards did. Good stretch there by Frizzell at first. Holly April now wants a word with her infield. Runners on first and third for the Hokies. Turns the lineup over back to the leadoff, Emma Ritter.
So many things you can do as a team offensively at first and third. So not only walking through what your plan is against a very good Emma Ritter, but also what's your plan defensively? Which runner is going to have priority? Are you giving up second base? Are you going to make a play to try to back pick a runner at third? What's that going to look like as this at bat progresses?
So it's Lila Blackwell, the base runner on third. Ani Rose at first for the Hokies, and Emma Ritter at the plate. She finds a 5-6 gap. That'll score Blackwell. And Hokies are on the board, 1-0 here in the top of the second.
And that's exactly why that 7, 8, 9 trio is somewhere that you have to attack as a pitcher and as a team, and giving away that free pass really comes back to get you in that instance. And credit Emma Ritter. I mean, we've talked about her bat-to-ball skills, finding a hole, securing the RBI.
So now it's Addie Green back to the plate. She was given the free pass her first time facing Alyssa Zabala back in the first. Misses outside to Green. Swing and a miss there. Big hack from Addie Green. Make it 1-2. Missing outside, evens up the count. This off speed is drilled into right field. Ani Rose has the green light. She crosses home. And a big single RBI for Addie Green makes it a 2-0 ball game in favor of Virginia Tech.
A good job there from Zabala working ahead, just giving up a little bit more on that pitch than I think she wanted to. And Virginia Tech has talked about maximizing their miss hits, and even those last two swings that we saw, they weren't those towering home run balls that you've come to expect, but just being able to get the most out of every at bat you have, every swing you put on a ball, and that's what happened, getting the most out of the contact.
And it looks like that way into the circle for the Cards, a senior from Huntersville, North Carolina.
I'll tell you what, I like this decision because you have 2 games to play today.
Yeah.
You have a game to play tomorrow. Zabala has thrown 42% of the innings for this team all year. So it's something that you're going to see her again. So why let them see you more than you have to right now?
Well, Cameron Fagan gets up there and gets jammed on the inside, but it finds its way into that 5-6 gap into left field for a single and an RBI.
And for Gabby, one thing we're going to see from her is the use of the ground. And so rolling a ground ball, that's a victory for her. It just happened to roll where they weren't. So I think if she can continue to induce ground balls, really working the lower half of the zone, which is quite different from Zabala and what they've seen. And generally speaking, she throws well to lefties. They like that matchup. She'll come in relief when there's a lefty segment of the order. So try to roll another ground ball and get this Cardinals team back in their dugout.
2 outs here, and she does just that. Able to underhand it over to Frizzell at first, gets the out. Hokies strand 2, but they put 3 across the plate. They lead 3-0 heading into the bottom of the second. And welcome in to Ulmer Stadium. I'm Suzanne Bush, joined alongside Joanna Lane, and we're here in the bottom of the second. Cards coming to the plate. Virginia Tech able to put 3 runs across the board in the top of the third. Bailey Richardson will face pitcher Lindsey Grind for the first time. Fouls this up and over our head here in the press box. Richardson, the graduate student from Locust Grove, Illinois. Transferred from Georgia State. Already has earned her sports administration degree. Swings on this. That is a foul ball. 0-2 the count.
As this Louisville team transitions into the conference part of their season, the way that Bailey Richardson can adapt to this, I think, is going to be something that they watch closely. It's just a different setting than what she came from, and being able to go weekend after weekend in ACC play. It's sometimes the adjustment is being ready every game, every pitch for that consistent opponent, and I think that's an area that she settled into more and more as the preseason went along. But it's just so unique, playing 5 games in a weekend and the travel compared to 1 game a day, 2 in this instance, but and what that will look like for her over the next several weeks.
That'll be a punch out for Lindsey Grind, her second of the day. And that was the designated player who has come into the game as the pitcher, Gabby Holloway. Player that both you and I, Joanna, were very excited to see put on the batter's helmet, get into the box, take some hacks. Swings on this, fouls it up and out of play. 1-1 the count to Holloway.
And I think probably the most excitement comes from where she is physically, being able to have a season where she can play both sides of the ball. And that's just been hard to come by. She's been plagued by so many different injuries, has worked tirelessly.
This is a well-struck moonball. However, under it, Addie Green had just kind of hung up. The wind is actually blowing toward that right-hand fence, or the right side. Ball just gets hung up there. Looked like it had the distance initially.
It did. It was hit hard, but definitely hit a wall, atmospheric wall, whatever that was, and just stayed right there for Green to camp under. But, and that's the MO2 with, Grind in the circle. She doesn't have a lot more flyouts than she has groundouts. She'll throw to all quadrants, but has been up in the zone more, the last several games. And inducing those flyouts. When you get the run support, you don't mind. You don't mind throwing pitches that are up in the zone that occasionally find their way out of a park because your team's already put up a crooked number in the second, and that frees you up to throw what you want to throw.
It's Kylie Goff now to face Lindsey Grine. Catches the inside part of the plate. Goff falls behind 0-2. Senior from West Lafayette, Indiana. Swings on this, fouls it to the right-hand side. That'll be out of play.
And Goff, maybe more than any other hitter in the lineup for Louisville, really looks for a lot of pitches in an at-bat, really is someone who, not afraid to get hit, not afraid to, work her way onto the free pass. So it's a great approach here with Grind just going right at her, forcing her to put a ball in play 0-2 early.
Transfer from Maryland has been hit by a pitch 13 times so far this season. That's second in the nation. This is outside to Goff. 1-2 the count. This will be into the stands, sky high. And a good thunk.
You can hear the universal squeals of whatever travel ball team we have down there. It's always kind of funny. It's like, you guys catch those every day. I mean, I get you don't have a glove on, but you're going to be able to judge it. Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
Everyone resets. Still at 1-2 on the count to Kylie Goff. Off the end of the bat, Goff will be out at first as Grine able to get that ball over to first base. Michelle Chatfield for the third out. We're going to head to the third. Hokie. To the top of the third frame we go. ACC softball action here on the ACC Network Extra. Bree Peck coming to the plate to face now pitcher Gabby Holloway. Holloway came in relief of Zabala, Alyssa Zabala. Peck 0 for 1 on the afternoon. First pitch from Holloway in for a strike. Peck flew out to left center field, her first at bat. Just low and outside. One and one, the count. Off speed misses, making it 2-1. That misses low to Peck. 3-1 now the count. Peck, a sociology major at Virginia Tech, wants to go into coaching or teaching. Swung on, and Richardson over to Frizzell for put out number 1 here in the top of the third frame.
And there's that ground ball is your friend approach again from Holloway. She'll continue pounding the bottom half of the zone. And as you face a hitter right now like Chatfield, who's been really hot at the plate, you're going to see how much of the bottom of her knee you can truly find, because you don't want to elevate anything for someone who can do that all by herself.
Chatfield will send one. A little blooper into left field. Paige Garrity comes up throwing. That'll keep Chatfield at first. Chatfield's aboard with a single. She will pass the bat. Delilah Blackwell came in to pinch run for Emily Leggett and stayed in the game. Swing and a miss there from the lefty slapper, Blackwell. Another swing and a miss there from Blackwell. Falls behind in the count, 0-2 to Gabby Holloway. And that'll be Gabby Holloway's first strikeout of the game. She will sit down Lila Blackwell.
And that's exactly why the coaching staff thinks she does such a great job against lefties. A lot of times it's really difficult for right-handed hitters to throw in on that lefty, especially a lefty slapper, but continuing to just dominate that bottom half of the zone, going in tight, going right at the hitter, helping to record that second out. Big out for the Cards.
Now Kylie Aldridge to the plate to face Holloway. Aldridge aboard via base on balls. Back in the second. Swing and a miss there from Aldridge. Quickly falls behind in the count, 0-2.
And this is the kind of pitch that they probably don't see a lot in practice, right? When you think about what some of the Virginia Tech pitchers are going to throw, it looks a lot different than what Gabby Holloway is throwing right now. She's finding some success.
A foul tip there off the bat of Aldridge. We'll have everybody reset. The 0-2 off speed. Did she go? Nope, she is safe. So it'll be 1-2 as that off speed misses to Aldridge. Again, it's Michelle Chatfield on first. That ball misses well inside. Evens up the count, 2-2 to Aldridge. Chop foul.
somebody's going to win the battle on that pitch, because that's the one, right? It's been the same pitch several times, fouling that off, Gabby going away to the off speed, coming back, well inside, just trying to mess with the vision plane, mess with the timing of Aldridge.
Another 2-2. Catches the outside part of the plate. Goff throws the ball down knowing that touched the plate, and that's a backwards K. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gap. Allie Alexander, the junior from Taylorsville, looking to get something started for the Cards. First time facing Lindsey Grine in the circle. Looks to throw down that bunt. Pops that up against the back screen.
We've only seen 2 lefty appearances so far against Grine. Mac did the same thing, right? Went after the bunt in her first at bat, and Vanessa Miller got a steady dose of some outside pitches. So let's see how Grine continues to attack left-handers if she stays outside, challenging them on the outer half.
That's in for a strike. 0-2. The count to Alexander. Missing high to Alexander. 1-2. Alexander 205 batting average so far this season, but 300 in this leadoff spot. Little half swing, check swing. Bree Peck trying to barehand that ball and unable to glove it in time as Chatfield and Allie Alexander aboard and looking to get something started here for the Cards.
Yeah, really tough play for Peck, and all she could do was try to get that on the run, barehand or not, and deliver. Allie, good speed from the left-hand side. And if you're Grine, you're thinking, oh man, just a not a very hard hit single, but that's a line drive in the book for Alexander, and Cards got something moving here in the third.
It's Paige Garrity. Sends this first pitch delivery foul.
That was a really good read by Garrity, seeing Peck crashing on that, being able to pull back and try to poke that ball through. You're going to get all of the power you need coming from the pitch, so you're not really going to have to put much of a swing at all on it to get a little giddy up through the infield, especially if you're going to play her as someone who, is going to use short game more than not. We have seen her burn outfielders before that are playing where Virginia Tech's are, so something to watch there as well.
1-1, the count, looking to lay that bunt down, and that is fouled off. 1-2 now, the count to Garrity.
Say that 68, 69, 70, it gets to you in a hurry. It's a tough ball to bunt, especially when it's in the top half of the zone. Barrel control is so difficult to keep with a pitch like that.
Not the punch out for Grine, her third strikeout, and that'll be a backwards K, sitting down Paige Garrity. But the Cards finally turn the lineup over and bring Chelsea Mack back to the plate. Talked about that lefty matchup, popping up that bunt, her first at bat facing Grine in the first. Swings on this, fouls it off.
Well, by this point in time, Chelsea Mack has her own at bat that she can take knowledge from, and then Miller's at bat, Alexander's at bat, and Garrity's, because Grine is throwing them all very similarly. So you should have kind of 4 at bats in your mind by now, going up to this one for a good plate appearance put together.
And that's in for a strike as Mack falls behind 0-2. Again, Allie Alexander aboard as a base runner for the Cards on first. Sent back up the middle. Grine unable to glove that in time, and Mack with lots of speed able to beat that out. Runners now on first and second for the Cards.
You can see in this replay, not trying to do too much, just trying to get some barrel on the ball. It's been a tough task for these lefties on that movement pitch coming on the third base side of home plate. It's been tough. So a good job now from a couple of Louisville hitters of just trying to make something happen.
One out here for the Hokies. Outside pitch misses. 1-0 the count to Daisy Hess. Hess found herself aboard back in the first with a walk. Kylie Aldridge wants to have a quick word with her pitcher.
Well, this is the thing that's going to be a key part of Louisville's offense because of the way they're built, because of the way they get on base and manufacture runs. Hitting with runners in scoring position is really, really big, and that's something that has been a little bit of a struggle. Daisy Hess hits .263 with runners in scoring position compared to her .322 overall, so definitely an area that they need to capitalize on with this opportunity.
The 2-0 to Hess. Catches the outside part of the plate. Well outside. The 3-1 to Daisy Hess. Swung on, fouled off. Push the count full.
And that's probably the pitch, right? I don't know what's coming next, but that pitch had a lot of opportunity on it to be hit well, and those are the ones, those missed pitches, you got to take advantage of as a hitter. Keep those between the white lines.
The payoff pitch misses in the dirt. And everybody will advance 60 feet.
It's a great at-bat from Hess, being able to work through those pitches, fouling off what she didn't want, or rather what wasn't in the cards for her, but finding a way on base, passing the bat. Only one away, so great opportunity for Louisville. And for Virginia Tech, this is kind of where you've got to find a way to shut down a little bit of the threat. And for Grine, that's a strikeout. I mean, that's where she's been 13th in the nation in strikeouts. Look for her to try to dial it up a little bit right now.
Tall test with Riley Frizzell at the plate for the Cards. Misses outside to Frizzell. An almost identical pitch also misses outside. 2-0 the count to Frizzell. So Alexander, Chelsea Mack, Daisy Hess, the base runners. Pitching coach Josh Johnson makes his way back out to talk to Lindsey Grine.
And watching a little bit of the Notre Dame series with Grine, this one thing that you tended to see when she got in a spot that was a little bit tougher, she slowed down a little bit, and she's not working quite as fast as she was earlier. She's taking some deeper breaths. You can see the breath work happening with her, and I think part of that is just realizing where you are your strongest, and sometimes it's slowing it down, sometimes it's speeding it up, but definitely trying to take the time here to finish out this plate appearance, falling behind early.
Huddle break there. Senior Riley Frizzell makes her way back to the plate. 2-0 the count. Everyone resets. One out here in the bottom of the third. Bases are loaded. That misses inside to Frizzell. 3-0.
A little surprised to see that inside pitch. You look at the shift that's happening in the outfield right now, in terms of where Green is in left field, and it's heavy shaded to left center.
And with that walk, Allie Alexander will step on home plate, and Cards get one run back from the forced walk there. Looks like we might have a pinch runner for Frizzell.
Talking to Coach DeMore a little bit about that outfield, he had said that Addie Green playing a great left field, and more balls are going to left field, than are going to right. Part of that shift, Corey McMillan in right field used to be an infielder. So just the way that it played itself out with getting the bats in the lineup. So very confident in Addie Green's ability to cover the ground out there, read the ball in the event that anything is taken down the line.
Pickle Winkler will take over running duties at first base for the Cards. Swung on and jammed on the inside, and Grine helps herself out with that shallow pop-up off the bat of Vanessa Miller for 2 outs.
Yeah, that's a big out for Virginia Tech, being able to take one of Louisville's hottest hitters, Miller, with a one-pitch pop-up, after that last walk, and not helping herself much on that was Miller, but bases are still loaded here for Louisville. Another shot at scoring some runs.
So lots of speed on the base path. Mack, Hess, and Winkler. Bailey Richardson at the plate. First pitch from Grine misses outside to Richardson. Richardson, a strikeout victim of Grine's. Back in the second. Looks to continue this momentum for the Cards. Bases loaded. That off speed is in for a strike. Missing low. 2-1 now. That's in the dirt. And a quick time called by Kylie Aldridge. Everyone will reset. 3-1 here to Bailey Richardson. Swung on and missed. That'll be full count now. Big pitch there from Grine. The payoff pitch is swung on and fouled off. Little clap there from catcher Kylie Aldridge. Encouraging Lindsey Grine inside the circle. Everyone will reset. Another payoff pitch coming. Swung on, sent to the left-hand side. Bree Peck will step on the third base for the third out. The Cards leave the bases stranded, but they do get one. Across the board, it's 3-1 Hokies headed into the fourth. Top of the fourth, it's Annika Rose coming to the plate to face Gabby Holloway inside the circle for the Cards. First pitch to Rose is outside. Rose reached on a fielder's choice. Back in the second. Scored a run. Off speed is in for a strike from Holloway, and that was a nasty changeup.
Yeah, and she's going to do that, change speeds really well. And Holloway's having a great outing so far.
Yeah.
And being able to come in relief, give a completely different look than Zabala, and really hold this Virginia Tech team at bay thus far.
Just missing outside. 2-1, the count to Rose. Inside pitch. Fouled up. Balmy day here in Louisville, Kentucky for some ACC softball action. A little chopper back to Gabby Holloway. She underhands it over to Frizzell for out number 1 for the Cards.
And here's where the test gets just a little bit more difficult for Holloway. Good thing getting the first out right at the under your belt. But as they flip the lineup over, bringing Emma Ritter back to the plate, offense gets a little more three-dimensional. A lot of different things that they can do here in the top of the order for the Hokies.
Ritter 1 for 1 on the day, facing Alyssa Zabala. Both of those at-bats. Walked in the first. Found the 5-6 gap into left field in the second. Now facing Holloway for the first time. Swings on this, fouls it. Two and one, the count to the senior from Perryville, Maryland. Off speed, misses. 3-1 now to Ritter.
A lot of plate discipline right now from Ritter. That one thing that Coach DeMore talked about was that because she can hit anything, she'll swing at anything. Like, she knows that she can hit anything, and you don't always choose the best pitches to swing at when you're confident in your abilities to hit it anywhere on the plate. So making sure that she can get the one she wants to handle.
Well, and off the glove of Gabby Holloway, but good teamwork there. Daisy Hess able to collect that ball off the tip of Gabby Holloway's glove for out number 2, getting the speedy Ritter at first.
Just your typical 1-6-3.
Exactly.
You scorekeepers at home.
That'll bring Addie Green back to the plate. Addie Green 1 for 1 so far today. Also a walk. Had a single into right field. Both times facing then pitcher Alyssa Zabala. First pitch strike, swung on and missed. 0-1 the count to Addie Green.
Well, the drop-off for Holloway has just really been rolling off the table. And when she can get the Virginia Tech hitters to swing at that, it's been really successful. Most of the Virginia Tech hitters have also been in the very back of the box. So generally, you're not going to swing at that. So kudos to Holloway for making the adjustment of where it breaks, inducing those ground balls, and gets another one there.
Frizzell grabs that ball, steps on the bag. A quick 3 outs for the Cards. They're coming back to the plate, trailing by 2 after this. Due up for the Cards, it's Holloway, Goff, and Alexander. Holloway flew out to left field back in the second. Skies this one. And under it is Michelle Chatfield. A couple of different players in the area, but Chatfield takes that ball. That's out number 1 for the Hokies.
Louisville staying aggressive. A lot of first pitch swings that they're taking against Grind. And, you know, it's just one of those things of it might be the best pitch you get. And I've always been a believer of hitting early in the count. But it seems that we've had some more success from the Louisville team getting on base, working deeper into the count. So interesting to see what type of approach a lot of these hitters take as we make our way through the bottom half of the Louisville lineup. Look to turn that over sometime this inning.
Goff 0 for 1 so far, facing Grind. Ground out back to Grind in the second. 1-1 the count to Goff. That's in for a strike. 1-2 the count to Goff. Goff transferred from Maryland after 2 seasons. Also had a season at Purdue. Now makes her way to Louisville. Swings on this one in on the hands, and under it is Bree Peck, makes the grab in fair territory. Runs out into foul territory, but that's 2 outs now for the Hokies.
Yeah, good job from Grind, just continuing to go right at these Louisville hitters. That's something that she does really well. She's, you know, coming into today, had only 11 walks to her 51 strikeouts. She generally isn't going to throw a ton of pitches, which made, you know, some of that action in the bottom of the third a little unique for her.
Well, the lone hit that she's given up today has been to this player, Allie Alexander. Kind of a dinky little shot over to third base.
It was, and probably one that Peck wants to try again, right? She's like, wait a minute.
She's like, give me that again.
That's right.
Little check swing. Does not go. Holds back. 2-0 the count to Alexander.
And Allie, a great defender herself, can probably respect that quite a bit, right?
Absolutely.
She wants another crack at that one.
Swings on this. Fouls it up and into the stands. And another thunk. 2-1 the count to Alexander. Get the approving nod from Lindsey Grind. 2-1 now. Swung on and again fouled up and out of play.
She's tossed several balls back to the umpire and her catcher, trying to get the right feel. You can see the Gorilla Gold grip in the back pocket, one that she's using just to give a little bit more texture.
That catches the outside part of the plate. And that'll be a punch out for Grind, her 4th of the afternoon. A quick 3 outs for the Hokies. We're headed to the 5th frame. Hokies lead 3-1. University of Louisville, I'm Suzanne Bush, joined alongside Joanna Lane. This is game 1 of the series. Game 1 on the afternoon. Game 2 of this doubleheader will be about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game 1. Got rained out yesterday here in the Ville, so playing 2 today. Virginia Tech able to get 3 runs back in the second. They lead this ball game 3-1. Louisville got 1 of those runs back in the third. We're in the top of the frame here. Cameron Fagan at the plate for the Hokies, facing pitcher Gabby Holloway in the circle for the Cards. Fagan 1 for 2. Ground out to pitcher. Back in the first. Had a single into that 5-6 gap into left field. in the second. She was the first batter to face Gabby Holloway back in the second. Missing on the inside part of the plate to Cameron Fagan. 2-1 the count. Missing outside, 3-1 now to Fagan. And that misses high and inside to Fagan, and Fagan given the free pass by Holloway. Holloway's first walk.
We've seen several leadoff batters reach throughout the day for Virginia Tech. Their hitters doing a great job staying disciplined and really working towards that next 60 feet. Fagan no different here in the fifth.
Now it's Corey McMillan. Fagan getting a good jump, but 0 for 1 on stolen bases on attempts so far this season. McMillan, the junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. A little chopper over to Richardson. Does not get McMillan in time. Everybody's safe. Base runners aboard, first and second for the Hokies.
Yeah, that full swing, slow roller is definitely a difficult thing. And, you're used to seeing quite a bit of velocity coming off of the ball when it's hit by these Virginia Tech hitters. So can't blame Richardson really for staying back on that one, and then just got her a little bit.
We're going to have a change inside the circle for the Cards. When we come back, we'll tell you about Sam Boo coming into the Cards. Another switch. There's the Cards opting to pitch by committee today. This game one. It's a long weekend, Joanna.
It's a long day.
That
you
too.
know, and I think we thought that coming in. You and I talked even a little bit off air of, hey, look, who's going to eat up these innings, right? It's not going to just be Zabala. They're going to have to figure this out. And I think Coach April looking to make a move before people start to figure out the pitcher. So it was Zabala. Holloway was doing great. A little surprise there. But when you think about it, if she wants to preserve some of that mystery, if you will, for the rest of the day and tomorrow as well, going to Boo here just to continue changing pace. She's more east-west, a very good changeup. Very, very good off-speed delivery that will, freeze some hitters and just create a different look than what they've seen in previous plate appearances.
She's facing Bree Peck, the junior from Royersford, Pennsylvania. It's Cameron Fagan on second base. Corey McMillan on first base for the Hokies. Peck 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to left center. That misses outside to Peck. 3-1 the count. Ground out to third base back in the third. So now our third at bat. Third pitcher faced. No outs here for the Cards in the top of the fifth. This is sky high. Under it is Allie Alexander, and she'll make the grab for out number 1 here in the top of the fifth.
Yeah, good job from Boo inducing that fly out. A little gimme out.
Pressure remains on Sam Boo, though, as she faces Michelle Chatfield. Chatfield 1 for 1 on today's game so far. Pitches in for a strike. Chatfield walked back in the second. Had a single into left field in the third. Swings on this. This will be up and out of play.
Good job here from Boo getting ahead. Being able to finish off Chatfield is going to be a big deal. Sam had started the season really, really strong. Hit a skid a little bit. His most recent trip to Florida had a couple tough outings.
A tough hop there by Richardson. Daisy Hess diving into third base, trying to make that play, unable to do so. And a deep breath here from Richardson.
Really heads up play there from Hess. The only thing that she could do, she moves so well, so athletic, being able to try to sneak in behind Fagan and get the force out, but Fagan, great foot speed herself, and in there safely to load the bases for Virginia Tech.
Leggett re-entering the game as the DP. Her second at-bat of the game. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run back in the second. Delivery from Boo inside.
One of my favorite questions to ask coaches anytime we talk is, tell me someone who is knocking at the door. Who are you seeing doing big things in practice that you haven't really seen translate to the field? And Coach DeMore's answer was Emily Leggett, that her timing's a little off, but it's coming, and you can see her put it together there. A great at bat.
Well, timing was on there as she gets a single and an RBI. Bases stay loaded and still only one out for the Cards.
And that's just something that I think is really important to realize in our game with so many different facets. So the season is so long, and you see the preseason and then your conference season, and different types of student athletes can have different types of output within those early season tournaments, conference season. And so when you feel like someone is so close, it's definitely worth asking about, because there's a lot of year left, even though these teams have played a substantial amount of games already.
Now coming into the game, the senior from Reston, Virginia, Maya Luco. Luco hitting her first career home run, which was, oh, by the way, a grand slam against Notre Dame last weekend.
Where have we heard that before? We had one of those a couple weeks ago. You know what's awesome about Maya Luco, though? She spent several years as a pinch runner, a very specific role on this team. And Virginia Tech has built they've always had a great program, but the last few years have really built something special. And being able to have a culture keeper like a Maya Luco who stays. She's part of your program. She's contributing in different ways. I think it's really a testament to the culture that Virginia Tech has with Coach DeMore.
Looks like Cece Fleming will be coming out of the dugout off the bench for the Hokies. The red shirt freshman from Lake Villa, Illinois, will take over running duties for Michelle Chatfield. So it's McMillan, Fleming, and Leggett on the bases. Maya Luco at the plate. This is outside. 3-1 now, the count to Luco. Only one out and nowhere to put Luco. Again, missing outside, and that'll walk a run home. It's 5-1 now, Hokies. Corey McMillan crossing the plate there. Now it's Trinity Martin, another pinch hitter for the Hokies, a sophomore from Nathley Virginia. Majoring in nutrition, foods, and exercise / kinesiology. Wants to be a physical therapist when she graduates. Off speed is in for a strike to Trinity Martin. One out here in the top of the 5th. And Martin is hit by a pitch, and another run will make its way home.
And some of those control issues continuing with Boo. It's just been a tough go lately with that, and not something that has been really an issue previously. I think there's always stretches of a season where it's just a little more difficult to throw strikes or spot certain pitches in certain situations, and that will bring Coach April out with the lineup card. And we'll see what the change is.
So it looks to be the freshman from Leesburg, Virginia, Lindsey Mullen. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you about Lindsey. That'll bring in freshman Lindsey Mullen. Mullen with only 12 2/3 innings worth of work so far this season. Virginia Tech has the bases loaded and their leadoff batter Emma Ritter to the plate. Mullen's first pitch delivery to Ritter is in for a strike.
In talking to Coach April, just trying to learn a little bit about Mullen and what she throws. Coach said to be prepared for her to throw to all zones, that she'll change speeds really well. And for her, the differentiator is the swing and miss, that she's got to be able to have things moving to a point where she's tunneling pitches, disguising pitches so that hitters are fooled, and that swing and miss is key. Without that, it can be, a little bit more difficult. And I think that's true for so many freshmen as they learn to navigate lineups like the one Virginia Tech is posing.
0-2 is fouled up and over. Ritter 1 for 2 so far this afternoon. That misses high. So Leggett, Luco, and Martin on the base paths for the Hokies. Delivery from Mullen misses. 2-2 the count to Ritter. Finds a 5-6 gap on this. One will score. Luco held up at third base. So big single there from Ritter. Continues the streak for the Hokies.
And that run would be attached to Sam Boo. A lot of different runners on base now from different pitchers for Louisville. So still Boo responsible for runner at third and runner at second.
Now it's Addie Green who sends this into left center field. And that'll be in the warning track. One will score. And a long fly ball there from Addie Green. Again, we're seeing the wind whip out to that right field foul pole. Kind of hung that ball up. It was well struck.
It was. I thought it was gone to start with. A little bit of left to right breeze. Chelsea Mack made a great play off the wall. Used the wall for leverage. Probably the longest single you can hit. This is a deep park, 220 to center, 10-foot fences. Mack keeping the ball in play.
So the Hokies able to wheel their lineup, bring Cameron Fagan back to the plate. She walked her first at-bat here in the 5th. Mullins' pitch misses outside to Fagan. Fagan 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Did have a single into left field back in the 2nd. Ground out in the 1st, and then walked at the top of this inning. Swings on this, fouls it off.
And that's what Mullins looking for. When you really look at the game and try to figure out, okay, what's working well, what can we build on? It's that type of swing, poor contact in the swing that shows that she is having a little bit of trickery in her pitches and keeping some people off balance.
Sent over to Allie Alexander, looking to get that lead runner at home. She gets the out. A great heads-up play there by Allie Alexander at second base to get that second out and lead runner to keep that run rule
absolutely
at bay.
Yeah, that lead runner is very important. You're looking at a 7-run differential right now. You can see Allie reads that ball, plays it at the low point of the hop. So important for an infielder. You have to either play it as close to the ground as you can or at the height of the hop. Anytime you're trying to play something in the middle of the hop, it will spell disaster. Allie does a great job reading that, gets the out at home, and keeps the 7-run differential here for the Hokies as Louisville's trying to find a way back in the dugout so they can try to score some runs.
Base is still loaded here. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Corey McMillan lines this into center field, and 2 will score. And now, Joanna, the run rule is in play for the Hokies. Runners at the corners for Virginia Tech.
That's right. Louisville will absolutely get a minimum of a bottom of the 5th at bat, but if you're new or just need a little refresher, there's an 8-run after 5-inning rule. That anytime 8 runs are scored, or the differential is 8 runs after the 5th inning, that does constitute a complete game.
And again, finding the gap there. Paige Garrity comes up with that ball. Another one will score. That was Cameron Fagan across the plate. So Corey McMillan at second. Bree Peck at first. And the Hokies continue to pass the bat. Chatfield has been kept quiet so far this afternoon. And, Joanna, this is a team that has only gone 1 game out of the 19 that they've played without hitting a home run. Addie Green has come the closest. However, Louisville so far keeping them in the yard. But if there's a player on this team that can change that stat very quickly, it's Michelle Chatfield at the plate.
Well, she has been on a hot streak lately, and that's one of the main keys for Louisville. We talked about in the very beginning was keeping the ball in the yard, and kudos to Virginia Tech. 11 runs on 11 hits. They've found a different way to score today. A lot of ground balls. They've just taken advantage of some miscues and being able to continue pushing runs across the plate in a manner that hasn't been as consistent as the extra base hits that we've seen from them throughout the start of this 2024 season.
1-2, the count to Chatfield. Fouls this just outside of that third base line. Missing outside to Chatfield. Evens up the count 2-2. A swing and a miss. As Lindsey Mullen able to get that third out finally for the Cards. The Hokies put up an 8-spot. Cards with their backs against the wall. Paige Garrity will look to get things started for the Cards. Only her second trip to the plate in this afternoon's matchup. So she will face Lindsey Grine for a second time. Struck out looking back in the third. Cards have to get something going, as Joanna mentioned in the last inning. If a team is up by 8 runs after 5 innings, they will call the game early. Hokies with a 10-run lead at this point. So Cards with a deficit here to make up. 1-1 the count with that swing and a miss. Another swing and a miss there. Makes it a 1-2 count. Grine looking to go the distance. There's 4 strikeouts on the day. Over to Rose. Gets the out over to Michelle Chatfield at first for the first out for the Hokies. And that'll bring Chelsea Mack back to the plate. Third time this afternoon she's faced Lindsey Grine. Swing and a miss there from Mack. Mack, transfer from Kentucky, played there for 1 season. Saw time in 39 games in a Kentucky uniform. Falls behind in the count to Grine, 0-2. Little chopper over to the right-hand side will be foul. Everyone will reset. Mack 0 for 2 on the day. Popped up to third base, trying to bunt in the first. Reached on an error in the third. We'll chopper over to left-hand side. Bree Peck comes up gunning, but Chatfield can't hold on to the ball, and Mack is aboard. As Chatfield unable to glove that ball cleanly.
Louisville continuing to find a little bit of a window. You know, that's what they've done throughout the bulk of the game. They haven't had a lot of hard-hit balls. Gabby Holloway's was probably the hardest hit way earlier in the game, but only 1 hit on the board so far for Louisville, but continuing to just try to find some type of opening.
Mack 6 for 9 on stolen bases on attempts so far this season. Bringing teammate Daisy Hess to the plate. 5th year from Ackworth, Georgia. Takes that pitch, misses low and inside. 2-0 the count to Hess. Again, missing low and inside. Hess with a pair of walks on the day. Gone deep in the count both times. Be able to get that walk. And 4 straight balls puts Daisy Hess aboard. So now 2 base runners on for the Cards, as the Hokies still looking to close this out with a run rule victory. It's Riley Frizzell that stands in their way, the senior from Willoughby, Ohio. Now Cards with lots of speed on the base path. Mack and Hess Lots of power at the plate with Frizzell.
Well, I think the message right now for Grind is, hey, you just need to settle in, let your defense work. Find the pitches that are working well for you and find a way to attack that strike zone, leaving some balls up in the zone. Louisville's been very diligent of taking the high pitch, not chasing that as much today as they have east and west.
Third trip to the circle, Josh Johnson, the pitching coach, his first year, part of Pete DeMoore's staff.
Coach Johnson is very, very tech-friendly, tech-heavy. He does a lot of work with technology in softball, and we've seen that grow so much in our sport, and it's really translated into the Virginia Tech methods in the way they approach hitting, the way they approach pitching, and we're seeing that with a lot of teams. But when you have a coach that not only finds the value in it, but it works very well with it like Coach Johnson does, you see some of the things that have changed a little bit, and that's a big part of the miss-hit philosophy we were talking about earlier, of being able to capitalize on miss-hits being better than other teams' miss-hits, and we've seen that a lot since his arrival in Blacksburg.
Frizzell calling time. Steps out of the batter's box and back into it. 2-0 from Grind. Swung on and fouled off. 2-1 now, the count to Frizzell. Frizzell 0 for 1 today. Ground out in the first, got a walk and an RBI in the third. Got a hitter's count here with 2 aboard for the Cards. Swings on this, fouls it off. Full count now to Frizzell. A good battle here between Grind and Frizzell. Another one is fouled off.
Timing-wise, Frizzell is there. I think this just speaks to the little bit of movement that Grind has been able to work on throughout the matchup today. It's not just the velocity that's coming at you. Hitters will tee off on that eventually, but being able to add the spin has kept a lot of foul balls in the equation in Grind's favor, and especially in this case, working her back into a full count against Frizzell.
And another payoff pitch from Lindsey Grind. He swung on and sent into left center field, but covering a lot of ground is Addie Green. So much speed. You mentioned it earlier, Joanna, and how much faith this coaching staff has in Addie Green's ability to cover grass, and she showed just that.
They might only need 2 outfielders. I mean, when you look at it, that's a lot of ground. It's a great read, and again, the ball hung up there a little bit. Addie taking charge and recording the second out of the frame.
And it now falls on the shoulder of the senior from Indianapolis, Indiana, Vanessa Miller's shoulders. She swings on this first pitch, fouls it off. Again, being really aggressive early in the count. There's a strikeout and a pop-up in her 2 outings. It's Chelsea Mack and Daisy Hess on the base path for the Cards. And again, swung on and sent into left field. Addie Green makes the grab in fair territory, and that will do it for game 1 here on the ACC Network Extra. Joanna, I mean, you talked about it, 11 hits and 11 runs. Different way of winning for Virginia Tech today.
It really is. I think if you had a chance to say, hey, no extra hits, an extra base hit,